Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Robyn Brown's capacity to play the victim in any situation and her capacity for hypocrisy regardless of the situation have been revealed in Sister Wives Season 19. Despite being happily married to Kody Brown and not having the multiple marriage she had always desired, Robyn has demonstrated throughout the most recent season of Sister Wives that she is still capable of creating any drama that she wants. Sister Wives Season 19 has demonstrated that Robyn's attempts to achieve her goals are insufficient to provide her true happiness. Robyn has been making every effort to stay up to date with the original Brown women for years, since she joined Kody's multiple family in 2010 along with Christine, Janelle, and Meri Brown. The fact that Kody's marriage to Robyn is much younger than his other marriages — he was married to Meri, Janelle, and Christine for over 30 years before they ended — has produced significant conflict within the family. For years, Robyn tried her hardest to fit in with the established family, but now that she has contributed to the expulsion of her sister wives, she finds it difficult to defend her choices. Robyn and Kody have probably been reflecting on the failures of Kody's past relationships as they navigate their lives after many marriages. Despite the fact that Robyn and her fellow sister wives were not sexually involved, the family structure often brought them together, and they were forced to spend their time together as a group, if not a cohesive one, then at least a united front. As Robyn developed relationships with Christine, Janelle, and Meri over the years they spent together, she frequently felt othered or made to feel like an outsider. Robyn's behavior during the early years of her connection with Kody and his prior spouses was problematic, even if she could have deserved to be taken more fully into the family. The Browns found it challenging to operate in a way that made sense after Kody's decision to bring Robyn into the family caused a stir and upended the established order. Over the years, family members and fans have criticized Robyn's actions, which often involved her making herself appear like the victim and blaming others for her troubles. It has always been astonishing how Robyn can portray herself the victim. Robyn made it apparent that her connections with Christine, Janelle, and Meri were more transactional than she had expected as she learned more about the Brown family as a whole and shared more with her sister wives. Robyn entered the plural marriage expecting a far different experience than she ended up with, knowing that none of the first three spouses would discuss her relationship with Kody. Although she didn't want Christine, Janelle, or Meri to discuss her marriage, she was free to talk about and speculate about their relationships. Things changed in the Brown household at the start of the COVID-19 epidemic, and Robyn started to speak more candidly and negatively about her husband's previous marriages. During the quarantine, Robyn became even more of an aggressor in the turmoil between Kody and his previous wives, even though she had always been more of a gossip about their relationships. Despite Robyn's evident desire to be a member of a plural marriage, she makes an effort to disregard the aspects of the dynamic that she finds unpleasant. The latter seasons of Sister Wives have been the most challenging to date, and the entire Brown family has had a lot to deal with. Robyn and Kody's marriage has gotten stronger throughout the course of the show, while his other relationships have deteriorated. Although Kody and Robyn's marriage has prospered due to their strong foundation, within a few short years, the flaws in their foundations became apparent since Kody stopped making an effort in his other relationships. Janelle and Meri were slower to decide to leave Kody and the family behind, but Kody and Christine's marriage, which had been troubled after adding Robyn to the family, took a plunge first. Although Robyn, who spent over a decade with her first husband David Jessup, has experienced personal sorrow due to the divorces, she has been more harsh on the first three spouses than she has ever been on Kody. Robyn has been tough on the original trio's decision to distance themselves from the family, but she hasn't been hard on herself for her own divorce. Regardless matter what is going on in their lives, Robyn constantly plays the victim in her relationships with Kody, the children, and his ex-wives. Like the rest of the family, Robyn has experienced difficult times on Sister Wives, but she tends to be more outspoken than others about her negative experiences, which makes them appear much worse than they actually are. Viewers have become accustomed to Robyn as the victim in every situation during Sister Wives' tenure, which guarantees that there will always be instances when she may win over viewers' sympathies. Robyn has been eager to try to paint herself as the victim during the most recent seasons of Sister Wives, even though she isn't having nearly as much trouble as Kody, Christine, Janelle, or Meri. Robyn's marriage to Kody may be causing him anguish since he has been rejected, but she is still in a committed, long-term relationship with someone who values and loves her. Robyn ought to view the separations as a challenging aspect of Christine, Janelle, and Meri's lives rather than her own, and stop taking things personally. Kody has made it apparent that his children aren't all on an equal footing in his eyes during his stint on Sister Wives and even before that over his years of multiple marriages. Although he makes an effort to suggest differently, Kody rarely makes himself available to all of his children when it comes to affection and attention. Viewers of Sister Wives have been particularly offended by Kody's actions with regard to his children, and Robyn's influence over that has never improved her standing with those who have regularly followed the program. It's evident that Robyn thought her children were being othered by the other children in the family at times, even though her children from her first marriage were accepted into the Brown household and treated as Kody's biological children right away. Because of these emotions, Robyn has tried her hardest to ensure that Kody devotes as much of his time as possible to her children, even at the expense of his sincere ties with his other children. Even at the expense of the others, Robyn wants Kody to give preference to her kids. Although Robyn has frequently presented herself as Kody's most sympathetic and approachable wife, her words and deeds don't always align. When Isabel Brown, Christine's daughter, underwent extensive back surgery to treat her scoliosis, it was one of the most obvious instances of her hypocrisy. Robyn elected to stay at home, citing COVID-19 worries, even though the rest of the family offered support. Years earlier, Robyn made sure to be completely there and supportive during her biological son Dayton's recuperation from his own operation. Robyn's disregard for Isabel was blatant evidence of her hypocrisy. Robyn's feelings were evident when she decided to support her own children while asserting that the other Brown children were equally important to her without offering any assistance. Even though there might have been worries about the pandemic at the time, Robyn was upfront about her quarantine, which would have given her the opportunity to help Isabel in some way. Even though Robyn doesn't want Kody or Sister Wives fans to believe it, her compassion and loyalty are limited when it comes to the family's children who aren't her own. Robyn has long defended sexual purity to her kids and Sister Wives viewers in general, which occasionally leads to hypocritical situations because the show has followed her through several relationships and highlighted some of the negative effects she has had on other people. Robyn has constantly shared opinions regarding sex and physical closeness that align with her Christian beliefs, emphasizing the value of abstinence for her kids. Robyn is attempting to emphasize to her children the value of family values, but her remarks have drawn criticism because they don't match her previous actions. Robyn has led a life that deviates from her current religious convictions. She joined the family following a 10-year marriage and divorce. While that may not be inherently incorrect, it is hypocritical of her to force her current ideals on her children instead of having constructive, candid discussions with them about their future goals. It's obvious that Robyn isn't seeking her children's opinions on the subject because she insists on moral behavior, purity, and candor about her feelings. Rather, the Sister Wives star's dogmatic demeanor and lack of adaptability serve to reinforce villain tales. There's no contact, really, with Meri or Robyn or Kody, Janelle admitted in the September 22nd episode as she and Christine, the mother of Aspen Brown, Michael T. Brown Padron, Paydon Brown, Gwendolyn Brown, Isabel Brown, and Truly Brown, gathered with their broods. I don't think that will change all that much. During their time in Las Vegas, Kody referred to their arrangement of 4 houses on a single cul-de-sac as the best time of my life, saying, everything was going well and Maddie and Caleb were around, and it was great having them around. I also adored Caleb. He was undoubtedly like family. However, as they disagreed about procedures relating to the coronavirus, things started to fall apart in Arizona. He said that his ties with the children suffered as a result of his marriages failing, saying, it just made all those relationships go sour. However, Christine maintained that there were problems long before she made her departure known in late 2021. She stated, all the kids that were frustrated way before I left. During the show that aired last September 22nd. His children's relationship with him remained unchanged after my departure. Kody still has time to mend his relationship with his kids. However, it will undoubtedly require some effort. I'm so angry about how I've been treated that I haven't gotten past that, Kody said. The problem is that, even when my wife or ex-wife is sitting there accusing me of doing something, I refuse to accept responsibility. I'm hoping that the disdain will eventually fade. We'll be able to rediscover love and forgiveness. Kody disclosed that when he and Meri were officially married at the age of 19 and spiritually married at the age of 21, respectively, they didn't really know one another. In order for Kody to lawfully adopt Robyn's 3 oldest children from her first marriage, they ultimately filed for divorce in 2014. She was really different when we got married, and I believe that Meri had some baggage that I was unaware of, Kody said. Initially, I felt like I could live with it. He asserted that everything was a struggle and declared, "I can't live in a world where she is constantly angry at me." But he couldn't get out. One man in a plural marriage told Kody he cannot ask for a divorce if he wishes to be faithful and in his faith. It is not permitted. I therefore couldn't leave that relationship. I didn't necessarily want to end the connection, though. I wanted to know if it was something we could fix and save. He acknowledged that the confusing messages were caused by Meri's belief that everything would be resolved. However, Kody went on, she wasn't pleasant, entertaining, kind, or fascinating whenever they were together. I'm bored and trying to be curious with her. But I didn't kick me out, he said, acknowledging that he could understand Meri's sense of abandonment. Meri, Janelle, and Christine all decided to have me leave the house. Meri requested an official separation, known as a release, from their church in late 2022, even though Janelle and Christine believed they didn't need to divorce Kody because their marriage was never lawful. She clarified in the September 22nd episode that it was through our church when each of us 4 ladies married Kody. It was what we called a covenant, but of course, we can't all be legally married. Therefore, I believe it would be best to end it as we are not planning to get married, and I don't want to be permanently bound to him if he doesn't want me. And I'm at the point where I think we should simply put this out of our minds entirely. She went on to say that Kody was opposed to the notion because he did not want to acknowledge the authority of the church authorities. The damage was done so badly that we're not going to reconcile no matter what, Kody said in reference to his position. But since we are answerable to God, I don't want to answer to this church and all of its bullshit. Since it will turn into a quarrel, if I become upset with Meri, I'm going to let her go and do what she wants to do. And it took her a long time to comprehend that it had been done and over for years. So, I just needed her to leave. For the 18 Brown children, a text message debate about a 2021 holiday gift exchange took an especially nasty turn. It all went bad, it all went south, Christine explained. Robyn, Kody, and their children were on one side and did not want to interact with Janelle, me, or our children. And following this text thread, there was a division. According to Robyn, her 3 older children felt that the conversation was emotionally unsafe and advised them to distance themselves from the relationship. But it was never anything about, "We don't want to see you again, we don't want anything to do with you," she maintained. It was just about, like, "Hey, this got yucky." Gabriel, for his part, hopes they can track each other down again. In the episode that aired on October 13th, he admitted, "The thing I want most is to just have a relationship with Robyn's children again. Aurora was my favorite person to hang out with in middle school, and I was constantly trying to get close to Dayton in high school. However, I'm not optimistic about a relationship with Robyn and Dad." 6 times Robyn Brown was hypocritical and villainized herself. She can dish judgment, but can't take it. Introduction: Robyn Brown's hypocrisy on Sister Wives, a deeper look. When it comes to Sister Wives, Robyn Brown has often been a lightning rod for controversy. From her arrival in the Brown family to her somewhat divisive presence in the series, Robyn has consistently stirred the pot, leaving fans questioning her motives and character. While some see her as a misunderstood wife trying to make her way in the polygamous family dynamic, others view Robyn as the queen of hypocrisy, constantly judging her fellow wives but never able to take it when the tables are turned. Is Robyn a victim, or has she villainized herself with her own actions? We're breaking down 6 specific times when Robyn's hypocrisy became too much to ignore. These moments not only reflect her judgmental nature but also highlight how she's unwilling to accept criticism, which has made her a polarizing figure in the Brown family drama. 1. The "I'm just trying to help" defense. Robyn's judgment of Mary's relationship with Kody. One of the earliest moments of Robyn's hypocrisy comes during her critical comments about Mary's struggling relationship with Kody. From the very beginning, Robyn seemed to take on the role of the good wife, who was simply trying to support and help the others, especially when it came to Kody's relationships with his other wives. However, her comments about Mary's attempts to reconnect with Kody were both harsh and judgmental. She didn't hold back from criticizing Mary, yet Robyn's own relationship with Kody was filled with similar struggles and complexities. While she preached understanding, she failed to recognize the same level of emotional work needed in her relationship with Kody, especially as she tried to stake her claim as his favorite wife. How could Robyn claim to be the empathetic one when she wasn't able to see the struggles of others, especially Mary, who was clearly going through her own emotional journey? Robyn's judgment of Mary's struggles set the tone for how she would handle conflict in the family, always quick to dish out advice, but unwilling to accept it when it came her turn. 2. Robyn's desire for special treatment. The "I deserve to be coddled" moment. Fans were shocked when Robyn's wish for special treatment became evident in the way she interacted with Kody. She had no qualms about demanding extra attention or being the focus of family discussions. Despite being part of a polygamous marriage, Robyn seemed to think she deserved preferential treatment from Kody over the other wives, even going so far as to claim that her needs were more important than the others. This became most obvious during moments when Robyn would sulk and demand that Kody prioritize her, often dragging him into private discussions about how neglected she felt. She even voiced her disappointment that the other wives didn't get her, or offer the same support she felt she deserved. It's hard to ignore the hypocrisy of Robyn's demands. She wanted to be treated like the top wife, yet she was fully aware that being part of a polygamous family meant sharing her husband. But the moment Kody spent time with another wife, Robyn would flip the script, accusing Kody of neglecting her. Was it fair for her to demand special attention when she was, in essence, asking for something that went against the very structure of the family? 3. Robyn's criticism of Janelle's independent spirit. One of the most glaring examples of Robyn's hypocrisy came when she criticized Janelle for being too independent. Janelle has always been the most self-sufficient wife, someone who wasn't afraid to make her own decisions or carve out her own space within the family. However, Robyn seemed to have an issue with Janelle's independence, accusing her of not being as emotionally involved in the family dynamic as she should have been. It's interesting that Robyn, who constantly demanded validation from Kody and others, took issue with Janelle's independence. Robyn often looked for reassurance and validation from the family and especially from Kody, yet she expected Janelle to simply conform to her version of what it meant to be a good wife. Does Robyn not realize that Janelle's independence is a strength, not a weakness? Robyn's criticism here highlighted a double standard. She wanted the freedom to do things her way, but couldn't respect when others in the family did the same. 4. Robyn's attitude towards Kody's other wives. We're all family, except I'm the most important. Throughout the series, there's been a constant undercurrent of Robyn trying to make herself the center of attention. When she first entered the family, she played the role of the sweet, understanding, and loving wife who was willing to blend into the existing family dynamic. However, as the seasons went on, it became apparent that Robyn wasn't quite as selfless as she once appeared. In several instances, Robyn would assert that she was the most important wife in Kody's life, a sentiment that often clashed with her portrayal of being part of a big, happy family. While she would claim that the family was united, her actions showed otherwise, constantly prioritizing her needs and desires over the others. It wasn't just about her being the favorite wife, but Robyn's unwillingness to fully embrace the concept of shared love. She created tension in the family by subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, positioning herself above the other wives. This lack of unity and hypocrisy eventually pushed the family dynamic further into chaos. 5. Robyn's drama with Mary, throwing shade and playing the victim. Mary has long been a target of Robyn's passive-aggressive behavior, especially when it came to her attempts to reconnect with Kody. Robyn often played the victim when things didn't go her way and would accuse Mary of jeopardizing the family whenever she tried to make her voice heard. However, what many fans saw as hypocritical was Robyn's constant undermining of Mary's efforts to find a new sense of independence, especially after her online relationship scandal. While Robyn was quick to judge Mary's emotional distress, she was simultaneously playing the victim herself. Robyn could dish out judgment, but couldn't take it when Mary called her out or when the other wives criticized her actions. It was a consistent pattern of Robyn creating drama while refusing to own her part in the tension. Why was Robyn so quick to play the martyr when the other wives tried to call her out? It was clear that Robyn's inability to accept any criticism made her both frustrating and hypocritical to watch.